A very warm welcome to everybody who stepped up to listen to us. I would like to welcome all of you to this FreeSpring Mental Wellness Summit 2022. This is Bishakha, your speaker for the evening. So, today I will be talking about leading with empathy, the most underrated life skill for thriving and helping others game up. But before that, let me introduce you to who I am and what I do. So, my name is Bishakha Jain. I work as the Director and Indian Ambassador for the Cyber Security Global Alliance. I am the Brand Ambassador and Advisor for the Women in Cloud Network. And I'm also the official ambassador for the International Imposter Syndrome Awareness Day. I am an active cybersecurity evangelist and a public speaker, and your speaker for the evening. So, today we will be talking about empathy, which is a very necessary leadership skills, and how to lead with empathy and why it is underrated as a life skill for thriving and helping others game up. And why do I say helping others game up? Because that is what leaders are supposed to do, isn't it? Now, first of all, let's get into who is a leader. A very common question, isn't it? A leader is not the owner of the conglomerate. A leader is its custodian. A leader defends the people, and in turn, the people empowers the leader. It's a symbiotic relationship. This is the crux of a leader's role to protect the people, to help them identify the passion and potentialities to enable them to thrive, and in the process, create more leaders. What does a leader signify? And who is a leader? According to me, each one of us is a leader because, if not anything else, it's our life that we all handle independently. We are independent contributors to our own lives. And this is growth for us, growth for people, and growth for the community. But the question is, what is leadership all about? Projecting intellectual horsepower underpins gravitas, a necessary leadership skill again. But there is more to this attribute than being the smartest person in the room. It's about signal that you not only have the depth and heft, but also the confidence and credibility to get your point across and create buy-in when the going gets rough. Because at the end of the day, we all are constantly selling. We sell our character, we sell our resumes, our potentialities, our passion, our skills to make a living. In fact, projecting confidence and grace under fire is the number one pick to identify what constitutes leadership. However, gravitas alone is not enough unless we are empathetic and authentic enough, unless we convince everyone that we care. Because, as rightly put by Theodore Roosevelt, nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care. And empathy is the culmination of three virtues churned together into a cohesive whole, namely courage, compassion, and connection. Practicing courage, compassion, and connection in our daily lives is how we cultivate worthiness. The key word is practice. Mary Daly, a theologian, writes, courage is like habitus, a habit, a virtue. You get it by courageous act. Just like you learn swimming and you learn to swim by swimming, you learn courage by couraging. The same is true for compassion and connection. We invite compassion into our lives when we act compassionately towards ourselves and others. And we feel connected in our lives when we reach out and connect. Being trustworthy requires more than following a behavioral checklist. It demands getting right under the underlying attitudes, mindsets, outlooks, and ways of thinking right. Adopt them, and you will find the behavior come far more naturally and with less difficulty. In contrast, if you jump ahead to skills, tips, and tricks, you will be working the hard way. Just get the attitudes right, and actions will follow. So, now, how a little kindness goes a long way for the cohesive growth of people and essential tools to develop an empathy for leading organizational behavior is what I would like to discuss. Few of the things that I would like to highlight is how the outside principle works to act and think like a leader, and how do we cultivate the leadership mindset. We'll move on to talking about how do we redefine one job, and how do we network across and out. How do we be more playful with ourselves, and how do we manage the stepping up process. These are the few things which I will be pondering to going forward. First, the right mindset. When you think that you are a leader, the mindset shifts that happen is you start taking ownership of the task you have been assigned. You become more proactive. You develop an attitude to learn and thrive. The extra miles that you travel is what makes you extra from the ordinary, and that's what makes you extraordinary. How do you refine one's job, redefine one's job? We all are human centric. You agree or do not. Even technology, the fact that its dynamics keeps changing is because it is very much humane in nature. And how do we bridge those gaps when there is so much diversity and groups across all around the globe is what takes you a level ahead from others who don't. When you envision your new possibilities, engage people in the change process, and then you yourself embody this change, is when you successfully redefine the job that you have been assigned to. Another human factor is networking. Empathy will only cultivate when you understand people in and out, and understand the fact that we are more than our job. We are not just our job. There's more to every human being than their qualification, their job, and everything. And how do we do that? Or how do we enhance or rebuild our strategic network from the periphery of our current network outward as a step of increasing outside on ourselves? Develop a expertise which is outside your job and help people see through that. Then you help people to identify their strengths rather than forcing them to work on their weakness, is when you become a true leader, an empath who knows to bring out the best in everybody. And that is what makes you a bigger empath. When you learn eliciting inputs and perspectives of peers from different functional or support groups, this is again when empathy takes the lion's share of your character. And this is when people believe that, yes, you are here for the greatest good of them. Stressing somebody doesn't bring out the best in them. When you allow somebody to explore and be more playful with themselves, is when you come out as a brilliant leader, a person we all want to remember. Because, as wisely put by Mark Zuckerberg, the greatest successes come from having the freedom to fail. When you allow people who work for you or you work for to have the ability to explore and identify the best possible solution, the independence when you give it to them, is when you come out as a good leader and as a leader who people look up to. And how do we manage the stepping up process? Stepping up to play a bigger leadership role is not an event. It's a process that takes time before it pays. We have to understand that. It is a transition built from small changes. The transition period is rarely linear. Difficulties, complications will inevitably rise and often follow a predictable sequence of 5 stages: disconfirmation, simple addition, complication, course correction, and internalization. And that's okay. That's again human. But to help people understand and realize that whatever they're put through is for the greatest good of everybody, is what makes you a brilliant leader. And how do we cultivate those traits? There are ways and tools. First, we lead with integrity. Integrity means gaining trust. When people know that you genuinely care and they will grow around you, is when your empathy works and takes you miles. Mindset. When a habit of awareness, risk awareness, and controlling the controllables is imbibed into the people who work for you. And this will help them to cultivate the problem solving skills, and which is very much important. Interpersonal skills, as they say, the number one skills that takes you higher up in the ladder is your interpersonal skills, because you know what you want and you know how to get what you want, because you know how to communicate properly. This will only happen when people can connect to you. Empathy has a lot to do with connection. When we can believe that you are here for helping us and making us thrive, is exactly when people will look up to a leader and know that they are here to game up and help them game up. Training. Like they say, change is the only constant. And as wisely put by Charles Darwin, it is not the strongest of the species that survive and nor the most intelligent. It is the one that is the most adaptable to change. So, training your mind to change as per as the circumstances is again another necessary life skill. And when you teach other this culture, imbibe in them this culture, and help them understand that it's okay to not know everything and it's okay to not be perfect, it's when you lead with empathy, and empathy takes this miles. Action oriented, you do not only say but also act, and you design a way and then execute. This is another way of leading and another trait of leading. You have to be bold, because you have to lead from front as a leader, because people have a lot of reliability on you. So staying strong, staying bold, and having the in-depth knowledge of whatever you are asking people to pursue is something that differentiate a leader. Happy hormones are for the win. I started my journey, and very early on I understood one thing in life, that anything is possible with the correct mindset. You don't have to be the best or the most intelligent person in the room, but you have to be a resilient person who is okay to fail, but then get up stronger. And you don't have to do different things to be a winner. Winners don't do different things, they do things differently. You have to be wise and then think, is this going to serve my purpose? As simple as it. Will this solve the problem of the people around? Because no matter whatever you do, we all deserve to be happy. We all deserve to be sleeping peacefully. If it doesn't serve that purpose, any work is not worth it. And sometimes in life, as a leader, you have to be unkind to be kind, because challenging your peers to game up is also another life skill, necessary leadership skill as well. Because leadership ultimately isn't a popularity contest, it is the stress that makes us perform. But to what extent? Stress is the price we pay to be the thoroughbred in life. But to develop people to be able to take that stress in the right light is something what differentiates a good leader from a dictator. Because at the end of the day, we all are here to, to be happy. Our work should help us be content and sleep peacefully, because the longer you live, the more you will be able to work. Your immune system has to be good. And stress is a royal waste of time. So you have to be very calm and composed even while taking high stake communication situation. And the more higher you climb the career ladder, more high stake communication situations are going to be there. You have to deal with it and be prepared, but in a good way. And also, we got to remember that there are things which are constant when it comes to career. Those are the three people skills that we have, the three skills, one of which is people skill. Because if I can connect with any human and help them believe that they matter, they are important, they will work more than what is expected from them, because they will feel appreciated. Persuasion skills. If one can persuade any person to believe anything, there's nothing like it. There's another life skills which takes you miles. Prioritizing skills. Now, this is a very important leadership trait, and I believe a very important life trait also, because you decide where you have to invest your energy in. And everybody has to have happy energy, because we are talking about mental well-being. And then we also have to thrive at the same time. Ultimately, whatever work we do has to be done for the greatest good of mankind, has to contribute not just to ourselves, our people, because as Dalai Lama says, it's very mean to think only of yourself, your country, your state. At the end of the day, we all deserve to think and work for making the world a greater place, a better place to be. As the Sanskrit slogan goes, Vasudevai Kutumbakam, which means the world is one big family. We all stay in positive light, giving back good energy to everybody so that everybody can find opportunities to thrive, because there is enough for everybody. All we have to do is believe. And sometimes that will only happen when we learn to accept the fact that it's okay to go wrong sometimes. It's okay normalizing taking breaks from time to time, because it's very important. Even when you work out in a week, it is asked to work out for 3 to 4 days in a week and then take a good rest for the muscles for another couple of days to bounce back again with full energy. So, normalizing taking breaks, normalizing practicing gratitude is another attribute that will help people lead with empathy. Why? Because when you're full of yourself, you will never have any insecurity in the world. It's okay to be competitive. It's okay to want the best for yourself as long as you're not harming anybody else. But at the same time, it's very important to be full of yourself, because you can never pour from an empty cup. And to be full of yourself, you have to be bereft of any insecurity that surfaces your mind, and that is possible. A good leader is not the one who scares people. A good leader is somebody who makes everybody believe that they belong. And that is something which takes somebody a long way, because those are the bosses we want to remember, who have made significant change to our being and who have helped us realize our potentialities. And those are the leaders who are immortal in history, who have thought for the people because they believe that everybody deserved kindness and goodness. So, this is what my 2 cents are. Please practice mindfulness. Every human being is a leader, with or without the designation, because at the end of the day, you lead your own life, your children, your parents who are getting older. In your organization also, you lead a lot of initiative, a lot of projects. Those are yours. When you take ownership of those things, you are a leader by design. And it's very important to lead by design and not by default. It's very important to do the right thing even if nobody is watching. Be creative, forgive yourself. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to be wrong in your choices, but it's not okay to not let go. Please forgive yourself first and others next, because with empathy, you can help people realize their infinite potential, and that will only happen when they learn to let go things which did not contribute to their greater good. And that's fine. Let's all be human first. Let's all create a world where every space smiles unconditionally and infinitely. And let's create a world which loves one another, because that is what we are all born for, loving one another, loving what we do. And let's go miles without fear. That was my time. Thank you for listening to me. Let's all be a leader, a great leader with empathy and smile often. So, this was about my uh, 2 cents about leadership. And you can connect to me over social media in the following handles. This is my LinkedIn link, and Euphoric Bint is my Twitter link. So you can catch me there and we can discuss if you want to discuss anything about leading with empathy, not burning out, because that is never a good idea. There is life outside your job also, which you should embrace. And if you embrace that nicely, it's when you go a long way, because balance is important. So have a nice rest of the day. Thank you for listening to me. This was my time, Bishakha Jain, all the way from India. Namaste.